Hey everybody, my name is Ethan Nash. I have a master's in science and organizational performance, and I am a leadership and organizational development coach and facilitator and consultant. And basically, what that means is I know some things, or at least people pay me to pretend like I know some things. And I'm the CEO of Nash Consulting and a beneficiary of nepotism. And I also like to take long walks on the beach occasionally. And today I want to talk to you about a practical, super useful tool, we'll call it. And this tool is called SPA. I'll explain what that means. But first, let's take an example. So I'm a manager and I am trained in systems thinking as a manager. And I'm noticing an issue with a group project going on. So let's say I assigned a group of my team to update an important process that's going to affect all of them and the rest of my team. And so here's what I need you all to do. Go, this group of 5 people, go work on it. And 4 months into that project, they still haven't figured the thing out. There's bickering, there's finger pointing, decisions are not really being made. People sit in meetings and spin around talking about decisions with no actual conclusion to them. There's a lot of interpersonal conflict going on because of this. And again, because I'm trained in systems thinking as a manager, I avoid the assumption of, oh, well, this just must be some interpersonal challenges to resolve. Meaning, I'm not just going to come in and assume that I need to train people on how to listen better to each other, how to give feedback better to each other, and how to handle conflict with each other. Now, that might be some helpful skills to give them, but that's probably not the root cause of this issue. Because again, as a systems thinking trained manager, I know that it's much easier to fix the structure and processes than it is to try to fix people. And so I'm going to say, and to myself, why might this issue be going on? What might be going on in the structure of this group or the processes of this group that are causing all these issues, this conflict, and the delay in the project. Now, one thing that might be going on with this group is there is not a clear SPA. SPA, SPA. And what SPA stands for is single point of accountability. SPA, single point of accountability. So, what is a single point of accountability? I'll tell you, but first off, just know that if you don't have single point of accountabilities for all major project and tasks on your team and organization, you're missing out on a big opportunity for clarity, alignment, and just better accountability. So, what is an SPA? What is a single point of accountability? Well, first off, let's talk about what it's not. An SPA isn't the person that does all the work. The single point of accountability is not necessarily even the project lead or sole decision maker in the group, but they do own the process of making sure the work gets done. In a sense, I am saying that every project, every task needs to have a single, yes, one single point of accountability. Or we all run around with chickens with our heads cut off and things don't get done and nobody knows who's on first or who's accountable for what or how decisions are being made, who to go to for information. So we're looking for a single point of accountability, all major processes and tasks. So an SPA, single point of accountability, basically is the person that's going to track the status of a project or the task. They are the ones that schedules key meetings, and often is the one that facilitates them as well. But at least is the one that schedules them and then calls out who's facilitating them. They're the person that follows up and troubleshoots roadblocks or coordinates the troubleshooting or follow-ups of those roadblocks. It's the person that is the one clarifying and communicating decisions. This is the person that's going to share updates and next steps with everybody in that group, as well as anybody outside of this project team that needs to hear about it. And this is going to be the go-to person if someone asks, hey, where does this project stand? Can I get an update? So this doesn't, again, it's not imply that this person is the authoritarian ruler of this group. It doesn't imply that they get to make all the decisions. They may or they may not. That's what's going to be clarified with the role of the SPA in advance of assigning them SPA. The point is we have to have a single point for all of this stuff that everything kind of flows up and through and flows out from. Or again, it creates a whole lot of confusion and unnecessary angst and conflict. All right. So a couple key points about an SPA. First, your SPA, when you assign a single point of accountability for a task or a project that involves other people working with that person, they need sponsorship. So for an SPA to be effective, they need visible support from the leader, from the person that has some authority over this person and the rest of that team. So what this means is that sponsor is someone that can clearly designate who's going to be SPA. They have that authority to do that. It's also the SPA who clarifies, hey, here's the roles and responsibilities of the SPA. Here's their decision-making authority. Do they get to make all the decisions? Am I asking them to help this group build consensus? Am I asking this person to facilitate ideas and then come to a few options and bring it back to me as the leader? But I'm clarifying the role and responsibilities of the SPA. And I also, as the sponsor giving SPA to someone, I have to give them the authority to coordinate, to follow up. I have to make it clear that this is the person that you should bring concerns to first, that you should go to for updates and things like that. All right. So without you as the sponsor clarifying to the whole group the role of this SPA, the SPA ends up coming in and it kind of looks like they're just overstepping or doing a power grab or something like that, which creates its own sort of mess. So as the leader, as a manager, I need to give sponsorship to the SPA, clarifying with everybody this person's roles, responsibilities, what's expected of this SPA, what's expected of everybody else with working with this SPA, and so on and so forth. And by the way, I'll add to this pro tip here. If your SPA is experiencing resistance from those that are to be working with them, for example, you're kind of getting this vibe from people, hey, you're not the boss of me, you don't get to make that decision, don't tell me what to do, etc., etc. That SPA should avoid repeated attempts of trying to get the people to do the right thing, and instead, they should come back to you as the sponsor, i.e. the boss, so that you as a sponsor can re-clarify the roles and responsibilities of the SPA to the rest of the group. Because again, the SPA doesn't necessarily have authority over these people. They're not their boss. So if they're experiencing this resistance, that SPA needs to come back to you and it's your responsibility to re-clarify with that group. So that's one of the main points here. SPA needs sponsorship. Hey everybody, quick interruption here. I have two things for you. I have an announcement and I have an ask. First, for the announcement, I wanted to let you know that registration is now open for our signature leadership development workshop series. This is Managing with Mind and Heart. It's the online experience, and if you register, you will be joining thousands of other leaders who have participated in this workshop series. We're talking a skill-focused, practical, human-centered management training, and you'll be participating in it in a cross-industry cohort of other leaders. We would also like to give you, our dear listeners, a gift. So if you'd like to register for this, use the discount code MINDANDHEARTPOD, all spelled out. MINDANDHEARTPOD for 20% off this workshop series. Additionally, just a quick ask, if you appreciate this show, if you get value out of this show and you'd like to support us, the best way you can do so is by subscribing and leaving us a review. This helps other people find the show. All right, that's it. Thank you. Now let's talk about how to kind of implement this a bit with your team, how to make this stick, how to set up and normalize SPA on your own team. So first off, before I go here, do you want less finger pointing? Do you want more accountability? If the answer is no, then good for you. If the answer is yes, then I encourage you to build SPA, the language of SPA. Build this simple habit into how your team operates. Meaning, I'm communicating to everybody. I'm saying this out loud to everybody on my team or in my organization. From now on, every project, every major task will have a single point of accountability. If that single point of accountability is not clear for a task or project, work with each other to clarify that or come to me to help you clarify who is SPA. If I assign a team to work on something and I don't figure out amongst you all who's the SPA, that's on you to remind me to clarify the SPA. All right, we're going to have one person who's clearly responsible for keeping this project on track. Then I'm going to clarify what the SPA means. No, the SPA is not doing all the work. They're not necessarily making all the decisions. Again, I'm going to clarify with that SPA kind of their role in decision making. It could be, hey, here are the 5 different decision-making styles, which, by the way, we have a podcast episode on the 5 decision-making styles. You can check that out in the show notes. But it's saying, hey, here's the 5 decision-making styles. You have the freedom to use them, but use them, use them flexibly. Don't just make all the decisions without checking in with people. Feel free to make some decisions on your own, but using more of a style 2 or 3 where I'm getting input from people. And also utilize consensus when you see the opportunity to build consensus with the group. So I'm clarifying decision making with that person. But again, I'm clarifying to everybody what the decision making role looks like and that the SPA doesn't necessarily make all the decisions. I'm also clarifying with everybody that yes, the SPA's job is to coordinate progress, to set up meetings, to track status. The one that's supposed to request help when it's needed is the go-to person that you go to for updates. Simple as that, folks. Clarify that this is happening. Every project, every task, here's what an SPA is, here's what it's not, and then start asking regularly, who is SPA for this? Now, you can do a quick audit for yourself right now. Make a list of all your major projects and tasks that are going on. Even, include the ones that are just handled by one person, like there's no other person besides one person working on this thing, as well as the ones that there are multiple people involved working on it. So list those all, and then ask yourself, do all these projects have a clearly designed SPA? Again, yeah, even the task that just has a single person working on it, track that. Hey, this X, Y, and Z person, they're the SPA for this. They're the only one working on it. But that still communicates, I still communicate that out to everybody else, because if other people have a question about that task that's going on, they're not coming to me as the manager constantly, or they're not trying to figure out who to go to. I see right here in my tracking board that Susan is the SPA for this task. Okay. So do all your projects have a clearly designated SPA? The first thing I'm asking. If not, I'm then clarifying it for all of those. I'm making it visible for everybody. Then I'm also asking myself, does the team know who the SPA is? Meaning I might assign an SPA, but again, is it visible? Does everybody know? And then also, step number 3 for your self-audit is, have you as the leader backed this person up publicly? Right? Have you clarified to everybody else the roles and responsibility of this SPA on this project? Have I sponsored them to be SPA? Okay. So again, do all your projects have a clearly designated SPA? Does the team know who it is? And have you as the leader back them up publicly? And I'll tell you, this one small shift, it creates a whole lot of clarity. It actually helps people build trust with each other. and it dramatically improves execution without actually having to add a whole bunch more complexity or meetings. And yay for that. So, SPA, single point of accountability, every task, every project, make it a common element of your team, of your processes. Explain to your team what this is, why it's happening, how it works. And yeah, you can thank me for that later. All right, take care, everybody.